pleasant good morning to all. Honorable Prime Minister, the Honorable Dr. Winston Baldwin Spencer, colleague Minister Court, colleague Minister Mansour, Speaker of the House, the Honorable D. Giselle Isaac, esteemed Cabinet Secretary, Mr. Hazel Spencer, Mrs. Sharon Peters, and other distinguished permanent secretaries, including our esteemed Financial Secretary, Very Reverend Dean Rudolph Smitten, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I must say that today's event is designed to celebrate a milestone which has been, as we've heard, long in preparation, but I'm sure we'd all agree it will be satisfactory with respect to its intended outcomes. Certainly I'm elated, and undoubtedly so are my colleagues who have seen this process develop, as well as the technical team who negotiated the funds, as well as all the other individuals who provided their expertise, their time, and invested their confidence in ensuring that this center, and perhaps more importantly, the services that will be offered by this center, will be ready for business and to have the Antigua and Barbuda Skills Training and Empowerment Program close to its final steps for taking in the first cohort and running its first project cycle. Now, our engagement with the World Bank, which produced the Public and Social Sector Transformation Project, has made this event possible. Out of a US 10 million specific investment loan, an amount of US 4.1 million is allocated to support active labor market programs. Mr. Kentish very ably explained the full meaning and significance of this aspect of the overall project. I must commend those who have been involved thus far, because it certainly has been no easy feat. In 2010, the government of Antigua and Barbuda reached out to the World Bank and other development partners and donors for support to implement our National Economic and Social Transformation Plan. The response was immediate, assured, and of course, conditional. We're grateful to the World Bank for their assistance, particularly at a time when there is intense competition for assistance of this nature. This competition is not just regional, but it is global in its nature and scope. At a time also when oversight by any of these agencies who cooperate with governments, where that oversight is becoming stronger and stronger, and sometimes one would even be tempted to say restrictive. And needless to say, where the price of money is becoming more and more expensive. In this regard, I'm pleased to say that we were able to sign off in August 2013 on this agreement with an interest rate of less than 2%. Now, with all of that said, everything is going to be based on results. We believe that, and the agency, the World Bank, that is working in cooperation with us on this matter, that is also the view that they take. And so they are insistent, and we equally are insistent, that results must be the ultimate measure of the success of this venture. And so it must be sustainable, and it must contribute to economic and social development. Based on our agreement, the overall goals that we will be seeking to achieve will include poverty elimination and the promotion of shared prosperity. Of course, these are fundamental to the UPP's government's and national agenda for economic and social progress. I have to tell you that in today's world, whilst we were able to get the funds at a very low and manageable interest rates, there is no such thing as free unconditional money. And that's why I said that the support is conditional, and it is conditional on results. And the quicker we are able to realize our results, it will be that much quicker and easier for us to realize our development goals. And of course, we will also be able to attract more support, not just from the World Bank, but from other development partners. I also am happy that the management of the funds will be done strictly in accordance with principles of transparency and will be based on an operations manual which has been hammered out and which is recognized to be consistent with global best practices. And it means then that Antigua and Barbuda, as we continue our quest, our thrust and our journey to development, that we will be seeing in this project a further contribution to investment in our human resource development. And that is critical. As we invest in our human resource development, particularly as we've heard from Mr. Kentish, the training of our people, and the training of our people, not just for now, but for the future. In our budget for 2014, we outlined our goal of creating a new economy. And by a new economy, we're speaking of a technologically driven, globally competitive, people-centered, first world economy. And that must be our goal, not to see ourselves as a second-rate or third world country, but rather to aspire in the short term to achieve those things which we as a people, educated and trained as we are, know that we are capable of achieving. In fact, we are classified not as a third world country any longer by the global index, but rather as a high middle income country. What we must now do is ensure that the skill sets that we create and the type of population that we produce and prepare is consistent with that designation. I'm happy that there will be the mutual obligation requirement. Again, Mr. Kentish very colorfully referred to the sleepers as opposed to the seekers. I think that captures the essence of what the program is trying to achieve. And the fact that persons will be deemed not to be actively seeking employment if they are, in fact, not actively seeking employment. And so it places an obligation not just on the program to provide the benefits, but there's a mutual obligation, and I think that that is very important. I want to invite you to visit the World Bank's website as well as the government's website for information on the implementation progress and the use of the project funds in respect of the overall project. I also want to use the opportunity to say unequivocally that the results that we achieve will not only silence the critics of this program, but it will also serve to attract more assistance for more development. We're confident that the individuals and the teams that will assemble from time to time to work together to realize the results that we have outlined, that they are committed, they're experienced, dedicated, skilled, and knowledgeable. And more importantly, I think we can all say that they have the country's national development interests at the core of their heart. The reports that have been received so far would lead me to hail the work of Mr. Pascal Kentish, the technical leader for this component of the project. I'm told that Mr. Kentish treats OSEC and ABSTEP as though they are his children, very protective, very attentive, and very nurturing. Congratulations and full commendations to you, Mr. Kentish. But from my own personal experience, I know that whatever Mr. Kentish has done and will continue to do, he will do it even better under the watchful eyes of Mrs. Sharon Peters, who is known for her efficient, no-nonsense, but cordial approach to problem solving. So, Mrs. Peters, we know that with you and Mr. Kentish, this project is in safe hands. Of course, I must thank and congratulate my colleague, Dr. Court, who as minister, Mr. Kentish pointed out, his probing and thoughtful questions, someone who never leaves things undone or does things by half. And so with the minister, with Mrs. Peters and Mr. Kentish, I'm sure that the results that we have been seeking will be indeed achieved. Let me also express my gratitude to the other key participants in this program, the persons at the project management unit for the hard work that they've put in terms of the negotiations with the World Bank and bringing the project to this stage, and to reaffirm that the UPP government remains committed to its vision to eliminate poverty and to promote the overall well-being of the people of Antigua and Barbuda. I will go no further, given the season, but I'm sure you understand exactly what I'm saying. And when the right time comes, you will know what to do. Thank you very much.